so long,
Right.
we were using a way outdated number. We have to stay on top of that so that we know that we're reserving appropriately.
Well, to answer Nancy's question, that the big jump in the assessments last year and the year before were those two reasons. Last year was finally getting the correct amount.
Right.
And the year before was that giant insurance jump. So you had 2 years of back-to-back,
Okay,
you know, whammies.
I understand it now, thank you.
Sure.
Austin, did you have a question still?
No, I think it's been addressed enough. I just think if we're going to go to pooled, which I know makes sense, you just have to be extremely cautious. Like, there's going to be temptation to take out a pooled fund. That's how it works. I mean,
No, there's no temptation.
well,
Trust me on my end, there's no
maybe not
temptation,
temptation,
nobody's touching
but
them.
stuff happens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you need money. So
Right,
at that point, when it's
right.
pooled, it's much easier to say, well, we have the money, we can do
But
it.
it's only pooled for the same items as straight line.
Right,
So
of
you can
course.
only use it.
But
for
that, but
those
it also
items.
goes back to
Who's
what I was saying to
policing that they
Jim, in
can
terms of,
only
I don't know if
use
you were
it
here
for-
then,
who's
I was
policing
listening.
that?
where, yeah, with an increase in your operating budget, so
Right.
that you don't have to touch your reserves.
Right.
And, you know, some of the money, as we know, we're saving a little bit on insurance.
Right.
And a few other things, you know, not watering as often, or whatever we have, that, you know, then you have that money if you have an
Right.
expenditure that comes up and you don't have to dip into.
Either way, if emergencies happen,
Yeah. they-
going straight line or pooled, we're not going to be safe anyways. Like,
Right.
It's going to be
Yeah,
trouble.
you gotta pay for it.
Correct.
Right, so-
Especially these first couple of years when it's not
Right.
really built up.
Because we
Right.
haven't put enough in.
Your
there
answer
yet.
is probably CNS a little bit, your manager, because we look at it, but the board should be looking at it every month. The owners have the financial every single month. I've been really fast about getting them up there, you see that? I've been putting them up there before I even
I
email
don't
them to
think
the board.
I don't look at it. I don't always understand, but you did a very good
Yeah,
presentation.
I put it up
and
there.
I appreciate
Put it on the
that.
website, email the board.
I know, like
I'm
September.
That was quick.
I know.
I was really proud. I was impressed. That means that we paid all of our bills that we were supposed to.
Yeah.
No, it means the bank statements came in on time. No, we look at it all the time. As a matter of fact, I just went in detail over the roof stuff today because I figured, you know, that was gonna be a little bit of a mess. We had some monies, from the special assessment last year that was allocated to the roofs because we included in that SA hurricane. Then we had some people who paid in advance through the special assessment that should have been included. And then there was a portion of the loan monies that we borrowed that, so I went through that all today in detail, and believe it or not, it really wasn't that bad. It was very tight and close, so we'll get that straightened out by next year. I mean by next month, but, it's me, and you also went to 2 signers per check, every check, including operating, even if it's a $60 check, has to be approved by 2 people, so, you did put some fail safes in place.
And we have each cluster director approving their own expenditures, so that way they're aware of the expenditures that are coming through.
Okay.
So I do them all, but somebody, well, that's
I
fine.
do cluster four.
She does cluster, yeah.
Yeah. So you have changed things and put some things in place. And a lot of that, like I said, that was a lot of the reason, you know, that we got into a hassle with you guys and had to leave, and big fights over that with the attorney involved, over those money spendings. But
I remember.
now with you having 2 people approving every single check,
Okay.
and you have, you're right now you have a board that actually looks at the financials and pays attention. You may not in the future.
Yeah.
Let's hope that we do.
And I will say that when the stuff comes through, if we see things and we say, oh, that doesn't look right, or that's not the
Yeah.
right one, it goes
Yeah.
back. It bounces back to accounts, bounces
We
back
do
to
get
Janet.
those back.
So we look at it. Don't
Thank
just
you.
just
It's
hit
not
it
a
and say
blanket.
approve, approve,
Yeah.
approve,
Thank you.
approve,
That's
approve.
where I find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
We
So
look
it
at
does
the
go back and
actual
we question
invoices.
stuff.
And
as
then
well,
it's like,
so.
okay, there's no description, what was done here?
Yeah, why is
Yeah.
it, where is it for, it's the wrong address or whatever, that bounces back, so, yeah,
We
there's
get stuff
accountability
submitted
for
all
sure.
the time where it's billed to the master, but it was actually a cluster. So we have to kick it back to say vendor has to provide the actual detail. So we found a lot. You'd be surprised the number of things that we've found that have had to be kicked back because it's not correct. We even get stuff periodically for other associations that get posted to our ledger, and we kick those back. So we do go through each of those invoices to ensure they are correct and that at least we understand what happened to justify the cost.
Yeah, when I do your budget and I go through the GL in detail, that I'm constantly reclassing stuff and putting it where it needs to go to myself. Things that got missed even with all this oversight.
Okay.
I mean, everybody's trying their best. It's human error. There are gonna be some
Sure,
mistakes, but like I said, at last resort, owners, it's online. Check it out every month.
Yep.
You can just look at your cluster and look at the master.
Nancy?
You said 2 people have to sign a check. Who signs them?
Your treasurer signs usually every check, and then the cluster director.
Okay. Just wanted to know.
Yeah. Everybody except for Tricia, who just joined the board, is on the bank signature cards. So Laura was covering cluster 5, and I think you guys all decided not to redo it now, just to wait until,
wait until
yeah,
March.
wait until March. So right now, if there's a question on one of hers, they're just sending her the invoice to let her look at it and approve. Otherwise, one of the others will approve it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Used to have that for just the big ticket items in, out of the reserve monies, but now it's literally every check,
Everyone.
even if it's $20,
Requires 2
requires
approvals.
2 approvals, so.
We get plenty of emails from Janet telling us we need a second approver on something, so.
Only when the vendors bug it.
Well,
Yeah.
And then 2 hours later,
Okay, somebody signs it.
Please fix this.
Like, I know y'all are sitting around doing nothing, waiting to hear.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we are, and we are on it.
All right, so whatever the board decides here, just so the owners that are here listening and in person know, that you are gonna get the reserve schedule either way, whether it's the straight line or the pooled, we did them, you're gonna get a copy of that. You'll get that each year with the budget, and of course it'll be online, you can see it anytime you want to. There'll be no questions as to how much we're collecting and why you're putting in and how much each year.
All right, so in the interest of time, I think it's time for the board to vote on straight line or pooled. So I am Nancy, Robin, and Megan. Can you just make sure that you are unmuted so we can get your vote? So do we have a motion for one of them?
I'll motion for pooled.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Tricia?
Those in favor of pooled,
Yes, those.
Nancy, Robin, Megan.
Aye.
In favor. Nancy, you said
I'm in
aye.
favor.
You said aye, Nancy? I can't hear you, but I see you.
Shake your head.
Nod your head, Nancy.
Pick your nose if you mean yes.
There we go, it's up and down, it's
She nodded her
yes.
head, aye. So we are going to the pooled reserve process.
Well, we're not gonna go over these line item budget things. We're gonna have to
Make our
schedule
eyes hurt.
all board members. We're just gonna have to cram it in the next 2 weeks. Mind you, I'm leaving the state at some point in the next 2 weeks. We're gonna have to cram it in these meetings, go over your operating budget and the changes you wanna see. I'll get you out new copies of these, cause clearly I reprinted the old ones, and get them out to you, and we just need to get these finalized. Laura, I have to start with you, because I need the master, so they all know what they're paying into the master. And we'll get these finalized, cause some of you are gonna want to, increase some stuff to have more funds, and some of you are not gonna wanna increase.
All right, so we will, the piece on the budget draft for necessary changes will be taken offline, instead of tonight, since we just, approved this. All right, quick roof project update. We're done. Is that the roof project update?
Yep, I'm gonna tell everybody what the totals were, the actual costs. So there were change orders, the plywood, you did have $5,600, every cluster had $5,600 of plywood credit for your roofs. This is how old they were. Cluster 1, $3,190, it wasn't even all your buildings. Cluster 2, $8,277, 3, $5,615, 4, $7,140, 5, $11,726, and 6, $2,184. That was the additional monies over and above the budget, the roof contract, but final payment was made today. They're picking it up tomorrow morning. Everything is done. We did give them a punch list. We did have an independent, we said this last time, we had an independent inspector come in and look at the roof work. Gave them a punch list of things to fix that were roof related, and they're gonna pick up their final check tomorrow, and we're done.
Yay.
So,
Project off.
I have a question. So, what we talked about, like the flashing or whatever, who's doing that?
John Gubernaut is tasked with doing that stuff because we did not have them do all that. And I don't know, I'm just being blunt, they did, according to the engineer, they did a very good quality roof job on your buildings. He was impressed. But I think if Laura and I have to work with them again on a project like the flashing, I think we might murder somebody.
We will
Can
straight
you
up-
please cut that out of the video?
I will straight up drive to their office and choke one of those people out. And I don't care if I go to jail.
The front end office,
Nightmare.
yeah. It's
Because,
good,
uh,
that's a good way to describe
My
it.
last point on this is that, before, when I had the hurricane issue, okay, I had, water, I didn't report this because the roofs were gonna be done. But I had, this is what flashing is for, okay, you have the building that comes down, I have a flat roof, and then you have the flat roof. And when you get that water that comes, okay, that's what that flashing is for, that you put on the side of that building there, okay? That's why I was so observant,
Observant.
Yeah, you said it right.
you know, not only that, but my friend, okay, has a construction business and does roofing and has a roofing company and so forth. And I know everybody says that, you know, everybody thinks they know it all, da-da-da-da-da, but, and that's why I saw that. And then, it, you know, it was done on one part of the roof and then it wasn't done on the other part of the roof and so forth. But what happened was the water came not into my house, but the water came between the wall, like between the closet on my lanai and between the wall in the house, because the water was hitting there and then it was sitting there. So I didn't say anything about it then because we were going to redo the roofs. Now, my company Slide, talked to my friend that does the roofing and everything company and helps me take care of my money because of my illness, and told me that I should do my own wind mitigation because to tie it in with my hurricane windows, and I would get a bigger credit. So I did that, and when he came, it's perfectly legal, the pitch that they do, but it's so low legal that the water's still gonna probably sit, but they didn't do anything wrong.
Are you talking about the roof or the lanai roof?
So, no, the roof itself, before it gets to the lanai.
Because we put a pitch
There's a 6
in the flat roof
Right.
that
Yes.
wasn't there before.
Yes,
Right.
right, but they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong, okay, I'm not complaining, they didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying between, the first part was the flashing.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is that on the flat roofs, the code, they didn't do anything wrong, but the code, I'm surprised of the code because the water still sits. Like I went up, see, I can't see my roof without a ladder, but I go up the stairs, you know, and you can
Uh-huh.
see the water kind of sit. But there's nothing that the company did wrong. Okay, but with the flashing, if you look at cluster 2, and I saw a couple other clusters, you can go around and you can see where there's no flashing, so the water
Yeah,
hits
we're
that
aware.
edge.
We're
Yeah,
aware.
so my question to you last time, because I keep talking, I understand, but my question last time was it just what I talked about that was gonna be worked on? Was it being checked on all of the flashing?
I have not given him, we went over this, so since the hurricane, this is what he has left, this list here.
Yeah, he talked
That's
to
what
me
he
the
has
other
left.
day, because he's
Yes.
done work at my house.
I'm not giving him any more new work because I need this list done.
Yeah, he said that.
He's very busy,
But
but
anyway.
I will say this, I'm gonna tell you something about, I'm gonna give you a real quick story about my roof, because I'm gonna tell you what happened here.
Okay.
So the hurricane did take some damage to flashing and whatnot.
Right.
A lot of what we're having happen here, and I'm not saying for your piece, but
Right.
a lot of the issues that we're having reported. I just got a brand new roof earlier last year. I went outside and I have one of those houses, let's picture it like this, and that has that front piece, you know, where the front walkway is, it's like a straight little whatever.
Okay.
Where that meets the roof, they tore out my stucco, like that much. And I said to the roofer, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, what'd they do, re-layer it 5 layers? You took it down to 1 and you're just gonna leave it like that? And he's like, no, that's a building code. He said, you never notice issues like that until you get something brand new and then you notice everything. He said, walk down the street and look. Every single house in both directions has that.
Yeah.
I had it all along, never noticed. There was a lot of gutter work, soffit, fascia, damage and missing and wood rotting going on in Pebble Springs before the hurricanes, before the new
Yes.
roofs.
Yes.
Now we're noticing it all.
Yes.
So
Sure.
we are trying to get it addressed as soon as possible on a limited budget. And also without going out to what I call the giant bidders, you know,
Yes.
with the really high. So we're trying to have him get it done.
I agree with that.
But as fast as possible. But again, I'm not giving him anything new until this
Yeah.
is done.
By the way, again, thank you for all your work on the hurricane stuff. The companies that came to my house were very good, and you were very swift on everything, so for me, I appreciate everything you did.
Oh, I'm glad, because that's not the impression that some people have, so thank you. I'm glad you got a
Yeah.
good story.
Every individual is different, but my situation was great.
Good, thank you.
Did we end up over or under budget on the roofing projects? I know that first number was about the plywood, but I know we initially took out an X amount loan. Did we end up going over, under?
You were over by those figures
By
I
those
just
figures,
read.
okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that's how much each one was over.
And that was plywood.
It was, yeah, it was all plywood.
And then have you guys already determined how that's obviously being paid back?
No, I just put it into the roofing pool when when we borrowed from the loan, I
Right.
did it, Dawn and I did it like every 2 clusters, the draw.
Got it.
And it was included in the amount that we drew.
Got it.
We did not borrow the whole 600,000, we borrowed what we needed, I think we only borrowed 234 or something like that total.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot, yeah.
Of the 600,000 loan.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't borrow, yeah.
I have one more question on the roofing though. Jim said it. So that was not in the money that we paid the roofers flashing?
No.
Okay.
And we don't want them to do anything anymore.
They did such a good job, but honest to God.
They did a great job of it. We just would like to not have to work with them
Yeah.
The five,
anytime soon.
Their front office makes me look sweet. Did I tell you something?
I was with Laura a lot, so I
five plus
understand.
above and beyond the 5,600 for each cluster, or is that?
Yeah, above and beyond. And in all honesty, to anybody who's listening, we would give them a very good recommendation for the workmanship and the quality, but for the front office. And honest to God, the worst phone call and the longest phone call that Laura and I had with them was because they didn't like an email where I said that. As president of West Florida CAI and as director of operations at CNS Community Management, I could not in all good conscience give them a good recommendation if this is how they work.
Right.
And it was over an invoice that was sent on a Friday at 2.
Yeah.
They called me on Saturday night, they called me on Sunday morning, they called me on Sunday afternoon, they called me first thing Monday morning, and on Monday they sent me a nasty email, when is this check gonna be ready?
And they called me.
It wasn't even 8 business hours.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you had there and he went there and he went to the wrong place?
Well, that was that was, so the project manager went to pick up the check and gave the wrong association. And that just gave me the warm fuzzies. So I was like, well, you know what, I'm so glad you know which property you're actually working on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that call did not go well.
Yeah, and it was a demand for monies and nastiness associated with that. Everything that we reported to them, that they did damage some or wasn't done quite right, They did now have fixed everything, but everything that we reported, not our fault, it was there before we got there. She was just very aggressive,
was
very
not.
nasty.
Yeah.
I told Owen that he does a fantastic job. She basically cuts all of his efforts down to the knees.
Yeah.
Because her attitude and her behavior and lack of professionalism means that I would encourage people not to go with them if they have to deal with her.
Yeah.
So.
And again, coming from me, that says something, right?
And I work in
Because-
customer service, like this is my job, and she was brutal. And frankly, she earned a little nickname that I gave her, so.
Don't, we're being videotaped.
I'm not saying it, I'm not saying it out loud, okay.
All right,
Okay, so the next item then is, oh, FYI, I just shot an email back to them because there's still stuff along 59.
Yeah.
There's tarps and whatnot.
Oh, that they
So
haven't,
I
got
asked if Owen is planning to pick those things up when he comes for the check, because we want it off the property. If it's not off the property, we're going to dispose of it.
okay, that's fine,
So,
that's fine. I thought they were going to.
we'll keep those
Okay.
That's a
tarps.
good tarp,
Don't
yeah,
you
keep
worry,
them.
we will go and take those tarps. I'll
New
send Jim
business
down
items,
for it.
we have none because I don't have any over 1,000 in the past month.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That, right, that weren't, an absolute emergency, that had to be done, we don't need approval for, but,
All right.
um,
So the only
there was one
unfinished
leak.
business we have is the finalization of the maintenance and consideration of alternate maintenance personnel. So we all agreed to this schedule, what was it, back in July or August?
yeah, you guys put the daily, from daily to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we put the clubhouse in the monthly, cleaning, monthly rotating best, we put the clubhouse at the April, October with cluster 4. At the bottom, the power washing perimeter fence both sides was November, December instead of as needed was what it used to say. And other than that, we haven't added anything, however, oh no, we already do have this item, look, after rain events, clean the storm drains from accumulated debris.
Oh, there we go.
Release them all, yep,
I'm
that's
giving-
what she did in that photo.
And I'm giving props to this lady right here to Roxy, for helping us get all this together. She helped.
That was Roxy that did this? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the changes, and I don't know if you guys had more changes, because you asked for this to be back on the agenda, or if,
I think we wanna finalize it so we can present it to Abraham and be like, here's what you need to do while you're on the property. If you have no work orders, work orders take priority. If you have none, which, have we had very many?
I haven't sent, other than what you've texted me in the
Yeah.
past couple weeks, I've not sent him anything, because I still get crickets.
Well, we're
I don't know
still,
if anything's
and,
done.
and plus we're talking about, if he's not able to do this, what options we have.
Yeah.
What, do we, as much as we don't wanna increase any assessments, monthly assessments for any owners, we've discussed hiring somebody for more money than we're paying Abraham, but they're gonna be able to save us money in the long run because they're able to do more things. So, that's the whole story of what we're kind of looking at, what's best.
You know what his schedule was, right?
What, 8 to noon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? He was here today though.
Mondays, he goes through each cluster, and then, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he does, of course, all the doggy bags and trash. And then, the power washing and all those, the gutters and all those other
He's
projects.
not doing gutters.
No,
We
Oh,
have
you don't
trees
want it to?
growing out of our gutters.
you don't want him to?
He hasn't touched them.
No, what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
He's
what I'm
not
saying,
supposed to be on the ladder doing it, that was the
Yeah.
previous,
yeah,
board
what I'm
members
saying
that
is
were
those other
allowing
big projects then would be scheduled in, but, and then the work orders, but.
that's what this is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sound rude, but I'm gonna put everybody here back in their place. You know, I always, allow it when there's money. When there's money, I don't like to interrupt anybody. I like the meeting to go as long as possible, because I know it bothers everybody. But this is a topic the
Yes.
board hasn't even
Sorry,
discussed yet.
sorry.
Can the audience
My
wait their
fault.
turn, please?
So, do we have any edits to what was sent out? Those who are on the phone, Nancy, Robin, and Megan. Megan, you will note, as needed, it does say after rain events, clean storm drains from accumulated debris. The gutters, I think it's because it requires them to be 2 feet
Yeah.
high off the ground. So we also did get a quote, at least one so far, on gutters to replace them. And we're looking at adding gutter guards, which,
I got quotes on for every cluster, I just gave them to the director.
Gutter guards themselves would be awesome.
gutter guards would be amazing, especially if we got those dirty pine trees that drop
Like
the
olives.
garbage.
No, I'm gonna say something to you guys. We tried to have a company come in here a couple of years ago, a gutter specific company, and just go around and make all the repairs that they could make. And they said your gutters are so old, they were not willing to do the work because they didn't want to be responsible for touching something that then broke. So you now have, so I don't know that you're gonna find a company to come in and put gutter guards
Oh, no,
on those
but-
gutters without,
That was one of the quotes that we asked for though, was replace the gutters with gutter guards.
with gutter
Yeah.
guards.
Just to try to cut down on that, especially for those taller ones. But this is the schedule. Nancy, Rob, and Megan, do you have any modifications you would like to see to the schedule that was sent out? If you're trying to
Nancy, you're
speak, you are
muted.
muted.
I'll
Your mouth's
do the
gone.
ask you to unmute, there you go, I just sent it.
Here, we
Oh.
can't, I don't know why we can't hear you, Nance.
She's unmuted.
I know she is. She probably has her speaker off. We can't,
Nancy, you're doing your mime routine, pick your nose again. She did not, don't think she did, just because I said again.
I think what we have is good. I can't think of anything else.
Well, I don't think this is fact. I said to Laura, I really think we need to sit down and talk to him,
Yeah.
go over this, and tell him that this is not your entire job.
Right.
This is your starting point.
Yeah.
We'll be sending you work orders and adding to it as necessary. If all this is, if you're working your butt off all 3 days of the week and you can't get work done in a timely fashion, then you let us know we're sending you too much, but there's no way we're anywhere close to
We
that
have no
right
idea
now.
what he's doing all day. So, Nance, we
I mean,
can-
my thought is he's not very good at all, so I would love to discuss the option of finding someone else, but I think, I don't know if that's ever possible. I know we've been talking about this on and off for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and again, you know, with that, you guys might be in a better position in a couple of years, but right now, to do that, we would have to increase the amount in the master budget that we're putting towards the payroll, which now is only 15,000 a year.
Right.
We'd have to increase that to hire somebody else,
And
which,
we don't even spend all that on him though, do we? Because I feel like last time, because he works, he takes off so much, we're not even spending all that. Is
No.
that accurate or no?
yeah, that's correct. He doesn't even work 15,000 worth. But you would
We're
have to
still
get
close.
somebody, we did the figures when, 2 years ago, Nancy, or something? Well, Nancy will have to shake her head because we can't hear her.
Not Nancy, if we did it 2 years ago.
It was 2 or 3 years ago, Charlie was
I do
still on board.
remember, I do
Okay.
remember when that was done, because, it required a conversation with him, so he understood what the expectation is. And somewhere along the line, that has kind of, dwindled.
Yeah, none, it hasn't only dwindled, he's not only gotten lazier, he's gotten mouthier. Oh, I'm not kidding. The other day, I asked him to clean up the courtyards, and he said, well, I was off last week, who did it for me?
Nobody.
And I went,
We paid
I
you for
I
it.
don't, not sure that matters, I'm asking you to do the job, please. And-
Did you ever, that thing that I reported that was on the golf cart, was that something he actually uses?
I have no way of knowing that. Could have been
Yeah.
something he picked up from
He
somewhere.
picks up a lot of random crap and just leaves it on the golf cart.
Yeah.
Like,
It was
I
just
don't know,
interesting that it was there.
dog
Yeah,
waste
that thing-
bags
that
that
thing
are
is
full
nasty.
and still on the golf cart, I mean, that's disgusting, but what do I know?
Yeah, I personally don't think, it's no love lost on my part, but I know somebody's gotta clean up the dog poop stuff, but at the end of the day, I don't really find him to be useful in many ways.
My proposal with this is that we present him the schedule and we give him a period of time to show that he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
If he's not doing it, then at that point, we can actually document. But one of my things and my sources of frustration has been that we have no accountability of what he is doing when he is here. And we need him to start providing that level of detail. He got lippy when Janet mentioned that to him, so he needs to understand that he does in fact work for us. And if we want him to tell us what he's working on, he has to tell us that information if he wants to get paid. So I have no problem meeting with him. The problem is there is a significant language barrier when he chooses to have one. I will say that over and over again. He's very good about not understanding unless it's about something he cares about. So,
If we're able to get him to come to my office and you could come one day, or one of you could come and be with us, I can, I do have Spanish speaking,
yeah.
admin assistants that could speak to him on our behalf, you know, translate in the room.
I think,
Yeah, for sure, and if not, we can use, a translation thing, I mean, it's free, right, you can use a free one right online, and that way.
I do that with Jesus, if he doesn't understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying to him, I will send him that link.
I've done that with Harry and Abraham.
When you get your
But,
accent.
yeah, I mean, so
I know, yeah,
basically,
right,
all we're
but
trying to
that-
do at this
Two of us
is to
together.
finalize the draft for the maintenance schedule, so we can give this to him and say, this is what you are responsible for doing, and as part of that, you are to complete every day a document telling us what you worked
I
on.
was just gonna say, we have to
Yep.
create a form.
Yeah,
Yep.
you need to know what that
Almost like a
is.
timesheet.
And you know,
That
on
he
his
gets it with his
timesheet,
paycheck.
there's actually a spot for him to document what he does. He simply doesn't do
He
it.
doesn't do it.
So somewhere along the line, he forgot that he's not an independent. He does actually work for this community. So that part has to be relayed
I
back.
texted him and asked him that, Fiona, and I said, I just need you to send me a little, just something
Yeah.
saying what you did today, you know, at the end of each day.
Yeah.
And he said, I work, if you don't think I work for you, come out here and look yourself.
He shouldn't be answering like that,
Well,
because he said he works for us,
I think he's
that's
answering his own question about not being
Yeah.
here anymore.
So.
Well, I informed him of that, but it didn't.
I mean, that's the thing
smile
is, like,
for a couple
I-
hours.
Give them the option and then.
I,
we go
so
from there.
basically at this
We
point,
can go from there.
I just need to know, are we at this point going to make a motion to approve this schedule? And then present it to Abraham as something he is going to be required to follow?
I think it's a really good starting point to go what Janice said, where when it's presented, there's more that's gonna be added, this is your starting point, this
I'll
document's
get
fluid.
that with her.
I might have to fly
Do
home
it
by
with
then.
two people, don't do
I'll
it
have
just
to-
one person.
Yeah.
Just need to have
Don't do
it.
it.
But seriously, I think it's a good,
I don't even miss him.
it's a good starting.
Robin's got Jesus, so Dawn can have,
Yeah, Robin.
Abraham.
I don't think we need to make a motion.
I'll ship my daughter down, she's
So,
fluent in
do we all
Spanish.
just to say we are in agreement that we have this scheduled?
Yeah.
Nancy, nod your
Yeah.
head. I don't think we can hear you. Nod
No,
your head
nod your
or
head,
shake your
Nancy.
head. Nod your head if you say yes, shake your head if you say no.
We can't
Nancy,
hear
if you wanna call my cell phone, go ahead, if you have things to say.
Nancy, are you
If
saying
you're
that
just
you
gonna
don't want
complain
him
about
to have
Abraham,
this
we got it.
scheduled?
Hang on.
Oh, wait, we can hear you.
Oh.
Nance, we can hear you. Or,
No,
we
we
could,
can't.
that was weird. I have no idea what's happening with technology.
That was so weird.
That was very weird. We heard you say hang on, and now we can't hear anything else. So, we do have, 4, I can't do the math.
I wish I had a real drone, we could fly the little drone
5.
around. I can't even steer
We
a
do
car
have
on a
5 of
video.
the
video.
board
Video,
members.
yes.
She's calling, oh,
I said my phone.
yes, yes.
You're on speaker.
I cannot get the schedule to come up.
Okay, well,
So
you
I
haven't,
haven't seen it.
Well, you saw it at the last meeting when we discussed it and noted your
Here's my
changes. then.
my feeling on it is it's time for Abraham to go. He is not doing his job. He has not been doing his job. He doesn't acknowledge that this is a real job that we need him to complete. And he does a piss poor job when he does work. So personally, I would like to see us start looking for someone else. And gotta speak decent English. We cannot deal with this language barrier anymore, because he pretends to not understand.
We know.
I'm not sure you can say that out loud and or hire based on that, so we're gonna pretend, we're gonna delete that from the recording.
She's bad discriminatory.
Janet, is Florida at Will State?
Yes.
Okay. I just didn't know if we needed a reason, because that's what I was asking.
No, we do not need a
For 2
reason.
years, he has not been doing his job.
Gotcha.
All right, thank you,
All right.
Nancy.
Thank you.
I think at this point, it's not something, with all due respect to Nancy, it's not something we're gonna be able to figure out next week. And in the meantime, we have these items that have to be done. I think we give him the benefit of the doubt, we do sit down, we make him accountable, and if he does it, at least you can say we tried and we did sit down with him, and we've done everything we can to.
And
Right.
it doesn't stop us from continuing to look to replace
Exactly.
him. But it allows us to have him continue doing whatever work he's doing, but at least being accountable for what the schedule is while we pursue other options.
And again, as we're talking about the HOAs and everything, obviously, if we get a different maintenance company, it's gonna cost us more money. Even if we went from the 15,000 to say 50,000, that's another like $16-17 per owner per month. It's not, you're not talking pennies, you know, it's so, you know, in light of everything else.
Is, again, a long while back when we were discussing this, I said I'd put an ad out for Indeed, but you can't put ads out like maintenance people for free on Indeed because it's too generic, it's too popular. So I guess let me know if you want to put out an ad to try to, like in the meantime, just seeing if we get any decent interest.
Well, I'm just gonna say, before you advertise a position, we have to know how we're gonna pay for it.
Right.
And we don't have that, and the reason we didn't fire him, last time was because even just to, the quote for the dog changing station people, we didn't wanna budget for that. And then we wanted somebody decent who could do some of the jobs that we're like paying John Gouvernaud and others to do, to save some money and just do the dog stations, the bathrooms, the whatevers, and the amount per hour that we needed to utilize to be competitive, to get somebody.
That's my question. Would we really have to come out of pocket each person more, taking into consideration that they could fix a lot of things around that we typically have to contract out at top dollar?
Maybe not in the long run, but to start, we need to put it in the budget somewhere and fund the payroll until we
Right,
get.
I understand that. I'm just saying realistically, in the long run, I would think that it would save money, not cost
Oh,
money.
I agree, yeah.
It would, but part of the challenge that we face is being able to actually cull the data the way that we would need to identify easily what is being spent. So it almost requires each director to look at their expenditures over the last year and identify what had to be hired out to determine here are the costs for this cluster, because it's very hard to do at the entire community level. So if each director wants to go in and look at what you've approved, and if you remember at the beginning of the year, we had asked that all the directors keep track of what you're approving and then relay that back to your cluster on a monthly basis. That way you'd have that data, but I don't know that that was done. But really, if you want to figure out what we've got to spend, look at what your expenditures were for those types of things.
And you have to get somebody licensed.
Well, yeah,
And
you have to do
insured
maintenance,
for-
plus you can't just do everything.
Right, for a variety of,
stuff.
for a
Like
variety
electrical,
of
couldn't do
things.
it, electrical, couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Carpet up on, like, on the ladder, is that because they were not?
4 feet up, it's for our insurance.
It's insurance.
Yeah, it's our,
It's the
So,
payroll
workers-
insurance,
yeah.
no power tools,
Right, so that's what I mean, if we
use
had a
power tools.
licensed and insured person, would we still be under those bounds where they couldn't like fix the gutters, for example, or since they're licensed and insured, they could do that stuff?
You're not gonna get a licensed insurance person to do a maintenance job for $20 an hour. That's not,
That's
you
why
know,
we
not-
go up to like
Well,
Yeah,
to get it,
No, I understand that,
to
but
get-
what I'm saying is,
to get an
paying top
individual-
dollar with all the contractors, So I'm saying if we got someone different, would they be allowed to do things that like the current maintenance job can't do because of insurance regulations?
Megan, we're talking about replacing an employee who is employed by you guys, and your payroll carrier will not allow them to use, mechanical power tools such as saws and things like that, or
I
climb a ladder.
understand that, so why couldn't
Megan,
we
you asked a
just
question, I'm
contract
trying
out
to
and
answer you. That's what your employee was. In order to hire someone who is insured and licensed, you're talking about an outside contractor, and that's what you're doing now.
With all those odd jobs that they
Right.
come in for.
Like John.
Yeah, I understand, but if we had like an MOU and it was like a designated contractor, usually you can come up with, you know, a contract, a deal, a proposal. Never mind.
You mean like you hire your landscaper, hire a company with a set contract to do stuff?
John Goober, huh?
Is that what you meant, Megan?
I mean, there's several options. I was simply saying, because, like, for example, Abraham can't do